Welcome back, folks.
Welcome.
Hey, this is our first official episode of Summers Off Season 3.
Wow.
Dude,
Season
think about
3.
that. Season 3. And it is hot as balls outside. It's hotter than a couple of dead arachnids on planet Clandathu, am I right?
Oh my gosh. This movie. We'll get into it in a second after we take care of some business, but wow, we're in for a doozy today, folks.
For sure. Hey, if you guys could do us like one small-ish favor, could you take like 2 secs to, if you haven't already, just like rate and review the podcast, the potty, if you will? Is that a cool nickname?
No.
Hey,
Don't
check out the
abbreviate.
potty, and then and then if you want to participate in some of our little Facebook shenanigans that we have going on, that could be a good time.
Yeah.
Maybe this week, let's all post a picture of our favorite bug. And
You
then
just set
another
these
picture of
up.
us killing the bug.
Nobody cares about these little challenges. Oh my gosh. We keep trying to like keep things fresh and reinvent. Like, what do we do? Like, maybe we should just
Yeah, and
leave
nobody
things as
wants
it is.
to do
Nobody
any of them.
cares.
They're like,
It's fine.
please, I want to listen to your
Just stick
podcast,
to the
and not
podcast.
do anything else.
That's fair. That's
well,
fair.
if you could just take a second to rate a review, that would be awesome. That's
it's
all I know.
finally summer.
Yeah,
Wow.
you're done. Hey, bro, you're done.
I'm done. Yes, as of, well, I don't want to tell you when because I don't know when we're going to release this, but I'm very fresh off of the school boat. So this is great. I
Mhm.
love it. It feels slightly different.
You feel free?
I feel free. I don't have
Yeah.
to be attached to my phone and my computer all day.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we're excited to get on back to our normal setup here. So, for those of you who don't know, who might be tuning in for the first time
Sure.
to any of the Summers Off, just a little quick overview. Ty and I are married, and we like to watch movies that the other one hasn't seen, and we force the other person to watch it, and then we talk about it. And we're going to get back to that format now.
Yep. Yeah, because the last few episodes during our quarantine edition, we were just rewatching fun movies, and I think we're going to do that again sometime.
Okay.
Like, I thought that was fun.
It was.
There were movies that we really liked, or like some of us ended up not liking, so our feelings got hurt. So like, there's just a lot of emotions in that little mini season. So I think it's worth exploring at a further date. But I think for now, we're gonna go back to our format of
Yeah.
introducing new movies to each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And our
What fun.
movie this week was a classic, a cult classic.
Is it?
There are people that I know and love that love this movie.
No.
Yeah, for sure.
No.
I think this movie is the best. Not the best, but one of the best movies of all time.
I'm debating on whether I want to know who they are because I feel like I might tamper some of my responses. So maybe at the end, could you tell me who they are? Or do you
I
think
will
should
tell you
me?
off air. I will not tell you on air. I will
Oh,
not
okay.
because if other people don't like this movie, they'll be like, so-and-so, you like this movie? I'll be
That's
like,
fair.
no,
All right.
no, they're going to feel
All
bad
right,
about it.
tell me later.
Yeah.
Whisper it
Yeah,
to me.
that'll be
off
our
mic.
after dark edition of Summers Off. You pay us $5, we'll give you like some crazy after dark viewpoints on things with cussing and everything.
Oh, wow.
So we watched Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers.
And Rach, for those like 2 people out of our 100 or so listeners, we're up to that number, which is pretty awesome. We're in the hundreds, which is cool. For those like 2 people who haven't seen it, what would you tell them?
What I'll say is I feel a little attacked at first because I was one of those people who have never seen this movie. Is this a movie that everyone's seen?
No, not really
I
at all.
was going to say, really?
Nope.
It's so specific, too, like time-wise. We'll get into when it was. When was it?
1998?
1998,
Pretty sure?
huh? Yeah. It looks very late 90s.
97.
Okay.
Very tail end of 97.
Sure. Oh, Starship Trooper. Where to begin?
Troopers.
Troopers. All I can tell you is I wrote what a lot in my notes. Like, what? What? So, Starship Troopers takes place in the not-so-near future.
Yeah, it really doesn't seem like it's that far away.
If the future was like
Well,
a 90s inspired future, if you will.
it feels like it's not far away, but at the same time, it's very far away. So
Yeah.
I think it's like, you know how corduroy came back like from the 70s into like the early 2000s, and then it felt like it was maybe coming back again. Maybe it's just part of that streak, like the style is just rotating.
I'm just laughing really hard because this is the second time you've brought up corduroy today. I'm
No,
not really
that was
sure.
yesterday. That was yesterday, not today.
Why we keep
This is-
talking about corduroy?
I get one corduroy quota mentioning every day.
Oh my gosh, the fabric does not deserve it. But
No,
yeah,
I
we
never
talk
have-
about it
I
almost
never have wore
daily.
corduroy ever. Did you know that?
I
That's
do
a
not-
fact for you.
I like corduroy. It was fun.
Well, and I don't have anything against it. Just
Made-
never has made its way
Made
into my
fun
repertoire.
little noises while your thighs swished.
Yes.
Maybe we don't want that sound anymore. Okay, back to Starship Troopers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it starts with a group of high schoolers.
Yep.
I had to clarify. I
Yeah,
wasn't
Rach
sure.
was like, "Are these kids in college?
How old are these
What-
people?
What's going on?"
Yeah,
I'm like,
they're
"No,
all,
I'm
like,
pretty sure they're high school."
Pretty much like late 20s, but they're in high school. And they're getting ready to go off to either college or to enlist in. Is it called Starship Troopers? What's the thing called?
You're either a
Is it Army?
citizen. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
you're gonna become a citizen.
Yeah.
So it's one of the branches of
Yeah.
military.
Yeah, so you've got your infantry, who are kind of people on the ground. You've got your pilots. You've got your psychics.
Yep.
You're like your
Psychics.
brain people. So this group of three friends all kind of go each their different paths. And also at this time in our history, we are at war with a bug planet.
Mhm.
And this bug planet is like sending these giant asteroids that are shaped like big peanuts in the. It was the asteroid.
It
I
did
wrote it
look
down.
like
It
a
looked
peanut.
like a giant peanut. I was
It
like,
did
that is
kinda,
not
yeah.
what an asteroid looks like. Anyways, through thousands and hundreds of thousands of miles, they're just shooting these asteroids at Earth, and so we have to go to war with them. And we don't think that they're intelligent, but we come to find out maybe there's some brains behind the operation.
Mhm.
So yeah, I guess I don't. And there's love interests. That get split up because they're in different divisions of the army or whatever we want to
One's
call
a pilot,
this.
one's an infantryman.
Yeah, and then there's love within, like the infantry, and I was so confused at like, was this a comedy? Was this an action? Was this drama? Like, what
Yes,
was it?
It was. It
yes
was,
is the
Rach.
answer to all of these
Yes.
questions.
And that's the beauty of the movie. It was all of those
It
things.
was everything.
What did you want? Did you want romance? Because you got it.
Mhm.
Did you want some thrilling, kind of like almost semi-scary-ish moments?
Gory.
You got
it.
it.
Was super gory.
Did you want action, like bloodbath? You got
Yeah.
it. Did you want sex? Did you want a lot of nudity? You got it.
Jarring.
Yeah. What do you want? We'll give it to you.
With reckless abandon.
For sure. For sure. Now, you're going to be shocked at how old I was when I watched this movie.
Young people from all over the globe are joining up to fight for the future.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part too.
They're doing their part. Are you? Join the mobile infantry and save the world. Service guarantees citizenship.
Oh, can I guess?
Yep, go ahead.
You were. Well, let me think how old you would have to be at least. 7.
No, it came about way later than that. Because 7, that would have been like 94. This came out in
Oh yeah,
97.
that's what I meant to do.
Yeah.
You were 13.
No, but close. I was, I think, in either 5th or 6th grade. I can't remember which.
Okay.
But so it was shortly after it came out. I did not see it in the theaters, obviously, because it was not rated PG or PG-13. And my buddy Jeff, he has an older brother, and Dan had rented this movie. And so I went over and watched it, and I thought it was awesome. Obviously,
Sure.
as a middle school kid, your sensory overload and like everything that you could ever dream about watching in a movie was just presented to you. And so immediately we were like, hey, we'll come back. Jeff, I remember being like, hey, come back tomorrow. We're going to watch it again. And so I came back the next day and we watched the whole movie again at his house. So my parents didn't know much about it. they belong to that VHS club that you always talk about with your grandma,
Yeah. Yep.
the Columbia House movies.
You just.
And so I was like,
That's
Mom and Dad,
exactly
we got to
right.
get Starship Troopers. So we got it. Now, they knew the content was bad after I started watching it.
Mm-hmm.
But like once I got to like high school and stuff, my dad would always be like, God, this movie's so cool. So like, and then my little brother got into it when he got to an appropriate age, and like not really an appropriate age, because I don't even know if there is an appropriate age for this movie. But so it's kind of like,
said.
it kind of holds a little bit of a special place in the Hudson household.
no.
Not
Oh,
like a
no.
special place.
Not like a Goonies place.
No, but like it was on.
Yeah.
We would watch it.
Yeah.
And it was on TV a lot too, like with a censored version on TNT and TBS and those kinds of things. So, yeah, it was
Yeah.
around.
Boy, I bet.
How do you feel about an 11 or 12-year-old watching this movie, by the way?
Oh gosh. I think you said it perfectly. I don't know if I was old enough to watch this movie at parts. I was like, whoa. Especially for the time. I was just kind of shocked. I haven't seen a movie like that gory in a while.
Sure.
And just like and like being that shocked at how gory it was. Because I think it's not set up to feel that way. And all of a sudden it's just like, a bug just put his thing through his brain and sucked it out. You know, like
Sure.
you think like, oh, is this like a high school romance? Is it like a teen thing? Like, oh, or is this a war movie? No, space movie? I don't know. I just was surprised to see so much blood in space.
Sure.
We
Yeah.
don't normally see that because, like in Star Wars and stuff, we shoot lasers and stuff, but it's not gory.
No, for sure. When
There's
somebody
no-
gets blasted,
there's
they
no
just fall over. There's no
Blood,
blood.
There's no alien blood, but
Yep.
like it was everywhere.
For sure.
It was crazy.
For sure. I'm going to get into some of the
Wow.
amounts of blood that they used in this movie because it was kind of crazy.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's super gory. And I think it's almost like trying to I don't know if desensitize you to like the amount of violence and stuff there is, and like the nudity there is and things like that. I think it's like overload you with all the things that you are shocked by.
Yeah.
To the point where you walk out of that movie being like, whoa. It's almost like 300. 300's similar in a certain vein to that, like similar concept.
Yeah. 300. Cinematically gorgeous film.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah.
the story is classic and
Just like
well.
300.
Just like 300.
Starship Troopers.
But in space.
So, instead of then our arrows will blot out the sun, then we will fight in the shade. This would say like, come on, you apes, what do you want to live forever?
Warm it all up! Everything you got! Come on, you apes! You want to live forever?
Oh, that
You know?
was, yeah, that's is one of the things. I thought you were gonna make a segue to like how the alien bugs they blew fireworks out of their butts and that blocked out the sun. And that's where we were going with
And
that.
we will fight
We
in
will
the
fight
shade
in the
of your
shade
of your farts that blow up spaceships. I forgot about that. That's so
Again,
great.
I was confused. Like, oh, it's funny. Is that funny? That's funny.
Okay, so let's get into a little bit about this cinematic treasure. So, Starship Troopers, believe it or not, is based off of a source material of a book.
A book?
A very popular book.
Oh, very loosely,
by
I'm sure.
Robert Heinlein and Heinlein, or I don't know how you say his name, but it's more political than it is actiony.
Okay.
So it's more about like how do people respond to war? And he couldn't say like, pretend in his fiction that it was like Russia versus the United States in a post-World War II thing.
Sure.
So he made it about bugs and about science fiction, about like making it a little more distant to make that commentary. And it's actually a required reading for the Marine Corps.
What?
You have to read Starship
Like
Troopers.
Ender's Game? You have to also read
Yeah.
Starship Trooper?
Exactly.
Well, I'm
Troopers.
Troopers. Gosh, I'm sorry.
Super Mario Bro. So it's
Fascinating.
it was a super influential book in the American military and just in general. I've seen it at Barnes & Noble. It's in like the classics section and it has like a special cover and everything. And I always thought, oh, that's interesting. But it's nothing like what you saw in this movie. It's, I mean, there's Clendathu, there's bug planets, there's people going to war with the bugs, but it's more of a political, it's about like politics and things and how people react.
There were moments in the movie where it started to hint a little bit at more of that, and I was kind of bummed we didn't go that route. Like it was more like a commentary. Like you had these political experts who were talking about like
Sure.
whether the bugs were intelligent or not, and it was just like such a funny commentary on like
Political
on
talk
what we
shows.
do.
Yeah.
And one of them just got so upset. He was like, I can't even. I'm insulted by the fact that you would think that they would have brains or whatever. It was
Federal scientists struggle to explain the intelligent military actions of the arachnids.
When a colony reaches a certain size, 300 generations or something, it gets smarter.
Insects with intelligence? Have you ever met one? I can't believe I am hearing this nonsense.
You just
this
wait
is the most
a
ridiculous
moment.
conversation I have ever had.
Maybe there is some kind of bug that we haven't seen yet. A leadership caste, a hive brain.
Brain bugs? Frankly, I find the idea of a bug that thinks offensive.
it was fascinating. So
Yeah.
that was the part I was like, oh man, can we watch like more of that talk versus
Sure.
like, oh, someone else got a little poker through the brain, or oh, you're cut in half by the door.
Yeah,
whoa."
but you're only going to pay attention if somebody got cut in half by that door.
Yeah.
That's important. If somebody got shot in the eyeball. So John Cameron, who wrote Aliens and or directed Alien, he also used this as an influential piece. So he studied Starship Trooper novel before he went into.
Starship Troopers.
Dang it, I did it. Dang it. Gee golly willipers. So the screenplay was created by the same gentleman who wrote the film that I watched last night when I was going to bed, Rach. What film was that?
What were you watching last night? I don't remember. Lock, Stock, and Two Barrels?
No, Knock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels was the night before.
Okay.
I watched the movie RoboCop last night.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Yes.
he is same screenplay guy, and that movie is also super gory, like
Is it
very
really?
bloody. That movie looks like it should be for kids because there's a lot of action figures and like he was like a beloved figure for like kids at the time. But those movies are super gory.
Oh.
Very, very over the top violence, and like that's their commentary is about like how society is moving to technology and like we are in a consumer society and privatizing everything and super bloody and how we just ignore all that kind of stuff. So
Interesting.
you see a little bit of a correlation between Starship Troopers and RoboCop as far as the brutality. in it.
100%. I think it lulls you into thinking that it's not going to be that way because when you're looking at these spaceships, it's very, I don't know, the way that it's done. And it's kind of like how, you know, future science fiction movies were made in the 90s. Like everything looks like you're playing Atari on the screen. Like
Sure.
it all is like beep, boop, boop, boop.
Yep.
Like light up buttons. It's like, it's just not gritty, right?
Mhm.
It looks like it would be a kid's movie.
Yeah, for
Just
sure.
Starting it.
Yep.
I was wrong.
So the director, his name is Paul Verhoeven. He's Dutch. You ain't Dutch, you ain't much, you know what I'm saying? And he directed RoboCop. He directed a film that's on our Summers Off list called Total Recall.
Oh, yeah.
And he directed Showgirls. Rach, you have seen
Wow,
Showgirls, haven't you?
This is like a combination of all of those movies combined.
Kind of,
That's
right?
incredible.
But you've never seen Total Recall, right?
No, but I know
Okay.
enough about it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wild. It's wild. And so even some of the actors that were in Starship Troopers are in Total Recall.
Oh, really?
But yeah, so very much. And then you're gonna be shocked by this last movie that I tell you. There's a movie that we watched recently, very recently. You and I tackled it this week.
Oh.
And his name popped up when we were watching the movie, and I went, "Oh my gosh, it's so and so!" And the reason I said that was because I had just done research, and I had missed that he directed this movie.
Oh, was it Basic Instinct?
It was.
Oh.
Rach, give us, besides seeing Michael Douglas's Bootay, what were your thoughts on Basic Instinct? Give us a small rundown.
I actually thought it was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. I like, films that are kind of the detective style, suspense, mystery, that type of thing. I thought it was pretty good. I thought the acting in it was really good. Sharon Stone killed it. Whoa,
Yeah.
She freaks me out in a lot of ways.
Yeah, but you're like enthralled by her too.
Oh,
You're like,
absolutely.
"Oh,
Absolutely.
I want to be your friend, but I know you're gonna kill me one day.
You're gonna stab me. Yeah, we had watched that, and then we had also watched, what was the other one with Michael Douglas?
Fatal Attraction.
We watched that like night
back to back.
back
We
to
were on a
back.
Michael Douglas kick.
Yeah, we were.
It's weird. I don't know why.
You know, usually we do like a Tom Hanks kick or like an Arnold Schwarzenegger kick, but we were all about Michael Douglas this week.
Yeah. Yep.
It was interesting.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Basic Instinct was better.
Yeah, more than Fatal Attraction, which
did.
a lot of people would disagree with you. I feel like
Well-
Fatal Attraction is like the better movie, but I had more fun in Basic Instinct.
Yeah, I did too.
That was a good time. So this movie, though, was the director's favorite movie he ever got to do. More than Total Recall, more than
Really?
Basic Instinct, more than Showgirls, which is shocking.
What?
So this was his favorite movie of all time. And an interesting tidbit about him. He was in the Netherlands when the Nazis occupied it.
Oh,
So he was
wow.
in Nazi-occupied Holland at that time. And some of those fascist ideas he let kind of incorporate into this film. Not because he supports it. He's actually a super big socialist. But he wanted to incorporate some of those things that he remembered from when he lived. I think he was a kid at that time when he was in
Sure.
the
Into this
Netherlands.
film?
Yeah. Yep. Some of that
Interesting.
fascism. So let that kind of like influence you as you think about this
So are
movie.
you trying to make me think it's a better movie than it is?
Maybe. Maybe it is. So he wanted to glorify war, and he had
Mission
tried.
accomplished.
He tried reading the book, and he said the book was so bad it was just really boring. He couldn't even get through the book. He got through like 2 chapters, and then he just made the screenplay guy just tell him what it was about because he just couldn't get through it. And since that was so political, he's like, no, I want this to be like action, craziness, war, the wildness of war. And yeah, that's kind of what he was going for. Did he accomplish his task, would you say?
Oh, I would say tenfold. Yeah. All about glorifying war and less about political peace, which was
Sure.
a bummer because that's the kind of stuff that I find enthralling.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was, boy, I can't wait to give this thing my scores.
So the mid-90s, one of the reasons why this film was even able to happen, this film probably would have gotten canned or at least censored heavily if it wasn't for what Sony Studios was going through in the mid-90s. They were like a mess. They had like a ton of turnover at the top with new CEOs coming in. And as soon as the new CEO, I think they had like 4 different ones over the course of production for this. So they'd be like a few months in, the CEO would finally like start to get involved in the project and would start to have concerns, and then they would get canned. And a new CEO would come about and they would leave him alone for a few months. And so every time a CEO would start to get worried about like, oh, this is way too violent, or this is way too sexual, or this is way too much, they would get canned. And so it's one of those things that this movie probably would not have happened in this capacity if it wasn't for the turmoil that was going on at Sony Studios.
Gotcha.
This is kind of like how when I like to teach students, you know, like when principals get canned, I can get really into like some of the stuff like, let's talk about all the death that happened in the Greek wars and everything. And then a principal comes in and kind of like lays down the law. It's the same thing. I'm sure you get the same thing with testing IQs.
Yeah, I can totally relate to all
Yeah.
the sentiments.
For sure. Now, casting. So this cast, they were all like no names. There's not like a ton of details to tell you about the cast besides like kind of what they were doing beforehand.
Oh,
but like
interesting.
these guys were not famous at all besides one person in the cast. Who do you think it was?
One person in the cast?
One person in this cast was a big deal and everybody else was pretty much small time.
Oh my gosh, I just blanked on his name. Young doctor. What's his name?
Young doctor.
He plays a young doctor.
Oh, you're probably thinking of the right thing. Neil Patrick Harris.
Thank you.
Yeah, because he played Doogie Howser.
Doogie Howser. Yep, Doogie
And
Howser's in it.
I don't know Doogie Howser at all. Did you
Oh,
watch
yeah.
that?
No, but I know of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was so he was a kid doctor?
He's like a kid doctor. He's like, maybe, I can't think of how old he is. He's probably like 15 or 16 in it. He's just like this brilliant kid who is a doctor. And it's like all about his like, oh, I'm a doctor.
Who
in
was
the
this
adult
show
world.
for? Like, what was their target audience? Was it for
That's-
kids?
No, I think it was more of like an evening type of show. Kind of like
So it's
your...
for teens?
I don't know. I don't think so. I
Oh,
think it
okay.
was like, I'll be honest, I never watched it. I really can't guess.
Okay.
I really can't
Okay.
guess.
So it wasn't like a step-by-step or like a Full House
no,
type of thing?
I think it was like prime time.
So it was like ER. But there's
Yeah,
a kid doctor?
But it's like fun. It's like funny ER.
Fun
It's like,
ER.
but like we're the cool doctors. We let like little kids come and operate. It's fun.
Like Sequest with, what's his name from Ladybugs, when we talked about that.
What? Oh gosh.
Same thing. Okay.
Same thing.
So they wanted to go with, I think you're going to get this right away. They wanted a campy acting style. So they took a ton of people from daytime soaps because
Oh.
they had this like campy quality to them.
Yeah.
And I think
Yes.
that definitely shows up in the film.
The acting was atrocious.
This
guys.
is not a film to watch for acting.
Atrosh.
You don't approve? Well, too bad. We're in this for the species, boys and girls. It's simple numbers. They have more. And every day I have to make decisions that send hundreds of people like you to their deaths.
Didn't they tell you, Colonel? That's what the mobile infantry's good for.
I hope you're ready for more. We're going back to P to capture that brain.
The Roughnecks are always ready, sir.
I hear they need a new lieutenant. Want the job?
I'll take it. Till I get killed or you find someone better.
I can't think of one person that I liked in it, to be perfectly honest.
I think that the guy who plays not the general, but he's like their teacher at the beginning, he lost his arm and then he comes in, he like leads the Roughnecks.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he's from Total Recall. I think that he is probably one of the best in the film. He's pretty simple.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just
commands,
stays kind of like within this like little box and then just does it well and moves on.
Yep.
This is for you new people. I only have one rule. Everyone fights, no one quits. You don't do your job, I'll shoot you. You get me?
We get you, sir!
Welcome to the Roughnecks.
Ratcats Roughnecks!
Yeah, there are some doozy performances.
There's some doozies. There's some very attractive people. Can we talk about how attractive these
For sure.
people are?
You
in it?
absolutely can.
Yeah. Wow. Okay,
Who's super attractive? Who are you
okay,
really
so the main guy, whose name is Juan Rico.
Johnny Rico.
Is it Johnny Rico?
Yeah,
Or is
and-
his name Juan Rico?
No, it's Johnny Rico, but in the book, his name I think is Juan Rico.
Okay. Well, he's white, by the way, just so we're all clear.
For sure. And there was consternation about that because it takes place in Argentina in the book, but it's an Argentinian, and he is, obviously does not look Argentinian. But I'll give you a reason for that, because they wanted him to look German. The whole idea is, Rach,
he looks very German.
the idea is the Axis won the war.
Oh.
That's what's going on. I mean, it's never fully
Fascinating.
stated, but like what I gather from it with the fascism and stuff,
Sure.
it's that the fascists won. And now this is their new world that they've
Okay,
created.
okay.
Yeah.
And we're fighting
And
bugs
some
in
history
space.
with it, why it was in Argentina. Argentina is because that's where the Nazis fled after the war, historically.
Oh,
And
sure.
so having this German-like people and this fascism and stuff in Argentina, which was ruled by a fascist, if you've ever seen Evita, and so that's kind of that connection they have.
Well, that is so much more interesting than what I was seeing. I was like, why are we in Buenos Aires?
Yep.
Yes, well, you've got him. I mean, his jawline. Like,
Impeccable.
You can cut glass with his
For
jaw.
sure.
It's insane.
I don't think he can grow facial hair.
No.
He's like one of those like can't grow facial hair, chiseled jawline, looks very German.
Very German.
For sure.
Yeah, him and Denise Richards. Woo!
Oh,
My
gosh.
goodness, gorge.
And
Gorgeous couple.
so Denise Richards hadn't done hardly anything before this.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing she had done, this was one of her big things. She was in Against the Grain.
Against the Grain.
Against the Grain was the TV show we talked about in our Friday Night Lights episode that we just released that had Ben Affleck as a quarterback. That was the Friday Night Lights before Friday Night Lights.
Mm-hmm.
She played Ben Affleck's girlfriend in that TV show. That was like one of her big things.
I see.
And so kind of tying it all together, 6 Degrees of Summer's Off. And so this was like her big breakout role, though.
Gotcha.
And, I was trying to think about this. As Denise Richards, like, okay, she did Wild Things.
Mm-hmm.
She did
Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Drop Dead Gorgeous. What else has she even done? Like, she didn't really do a whole lot after this. Like, I was trying to think of her as like a movie star. She's so like in the limelight.
Yeah.
But is it because of movies? Or is it just because we all agree she's really attractive and so we've made her famous?
I think it's partly that. I mean,
She was a Bond girl, I guess.
she's a Bond girl. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So there's that. I mean, she was married to Charlie Sheen, so he's kind of crazy.
Sure.
But yeah, otherwise I can't. I mean, she just had like those like really, like that really big movie. And
Sure.
Wild Things, I think.
Wild
is,
Things
like,
and Bond
the
Girl, those
biggest.
are big moments. Yeah.
But other than that, I think you kind of just coast on that for the rest of your life, I guess.
Wow. So if you could just be a Bond girl, you're set
Yeah.
forever.
I guess so.
For Johnny Rico, they did consider 2 other people. They considered Mark Wahlberg,
Okay.
Marky Mark.
Mm-hmm.
He had done Boogie Nights not that
He would have been interesting
earlier
in this.
before this, for sure.
I think he's a good
And
actor.
then they also considered a very young, very unknown James Marsden.
No,
So
really?
X-Men's not until I think 2000 or 2001, and 2000, and this movie comes out in '97. So like this is way early for him.
Sure.
And yeah, they were looking at James Marsden, but they went with this guy. His name's Casper Van Dien because he looked German. That was the whole reason.
Well,
and
James Marsden, though,
Casper
speak of-
Van Dien, that's a Dutch name. I wonder if there was a connection. Dutch director?
You know there was. You know there was.
Yep.
James Marsden also has a chin that could cut glass, so
Yeah.
I think I could see the direction that they were headed.
Sure. Yep. Yep. James Marsden, I think, is the
Yeah.
most attractive of those three.
Obnoxiously looking, good-looking men.
For sure.
Is what they want to do. Like, you're just too good-looking. I don't understand.
Do you have a preference on those three? Casper Van Dien, Marky Mark, or James Marsden?
I think I would have liked James Marsden in this better.
Yeah.
Marky Mark would have been interesting. Like I said, I don't think he's a bad actor. I've seen him in
No,
stuff
I
that
don't think
I
he's
like.
a bad actor.
When it's tailored for him, though, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's true.
This would be interesting. This guy was terrible. He was terrible.
Once, somebody asked me if I knew the difference between a citizen and a civilian. I can tell you now. A citizen has the courage to make the safety of the human race their personal responsibility. Dizzy was my friend. She was a soldier. But more than that, she was a citizen of the Federation.
He really is. Just the way he
I don't know that
delivers
he's ever done
lines.
anything else ever since.
He
because
has?
He has.
Yep. You want to
Anything-
hear some of it?
Sure.
He was in the Sleepy Hollow movie with Johnny Depp.
Oh.
I don't know who he played. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I didn't really like
sure.
that movie, so I only watched it once. He was in a Tarzan movie called Tarzan the Lost City. He's shirtless on the front cover. You see his bod is wild.
Good for him.
He was in Alita, Battle Angel, just like a year ago. I don't know what he played.
Yeah. Was that Steven Spielberg movie?
It was the one where she like battles robots.
I don't know. I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either. We only see the trailer. And
Alita?
it was one of those
Akita?
Alita.
Alita.
When I saw it, the trailer, I thought this is a movie I would have loved at the age of 10. Like this movie is my movie, but I will never see it now. Like
Yeah.
but when I was 10 years old, this movie would have been the best. Like Starship Troopers.
Just like Starship Troopers.
Jake Busey. Did you notice that there's a Busey in this movie?
You got some guts for a rich kid. I guess you and me could be buddies. What do you say?
I'm honored.
Hey! Of course you are. Everybody should have a friend like me.
Oh, Busey. Yeah. Boy, his teeth. Now that you say that, I would never have thought that, but I did think, yeah.
He's got some chompers. Yeah.
Much like, I always thought that Gary Busey, his teeth were like false or like there was some reason like why,
Sure.
but it's genetic.
I think so.
I think it's genetic.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's Gary Busey's son, Jake Busey.
Yeah.
So, and what does he play? What's his character like?
He's like a best friend character. He's in the infantry with our Juan Rico. And
Johnny Rico.
Johnny Rico. He's kind of a goofball.
Mm-hmm.
Tries to take leadership for a little bit, but isn't very good. So
Yeah.
I can't remember if he dies or not. He might die.
Well, if
Maybe
you
not.
want spoilers, he does not die.
Oh, okay. He might die.
So he was in this movie, and I think he's kind of charming. He's kind of fun.
yeah.
You not a fan?
It's just charming is a strong word.
He plays violin, right, in the movie?
He plays electric violin.
Yeah, it's like a
electric
green-
glow in the dark violin.
For sure. And I
was
looked it up. We were watching the movie, and I was like, oh, I got to look up if he really plays violin. So he plays piano.
Mm-hmm.
And for this movie, they're like, well, could you learn violin? Well, he's one of those music savants or
Oh,
whatever.
seriously?
And he actually learned how to play the violin.
Yeah, because it's like the same thing, you know, piano and violin. It's like more or less the same thing.
I don't know.
No, not at all.
He's got,
That's crazy.
But I find that people who are good at piano are good at picking up other instruments.
Oh,
They're
for
just
sure.
like, they're the best.
That's fascinating.
Piano players, I'm so jealous of you. You guys are awesome. They can usually pick up anything. There was a really surprise appearance in this movie.
A really surprise appearance?
I'll be curious to see if you could pinpoint where they were. There was a golden girl in this movie, Rach.
Really?
One of the golden girls was in this movie.
Was Betty White in this movie?
Nope.
I don't know the real names of the other ones.
That's okay. I'll give you the name. It was Blanche. Blanche was in this movie.
Where was Blanche?
Think about it.
I am thinking about it.
Okay.
This is my thinking face.
Think towards the beginning of the movie when they're at school.
Oh, is she like a teacher or somebody?
She's in the dissection scene.
They can colonize planets by hurling their spore into space.
Oh,
So she's the weird
yeah,
lady
she's
who's
the
walking around.
science
She's got
teacher.
like scars on her face.
She's
which,
got like and big glasses, not
Yep,
big, something
big
glasses
goggles,
or
yep.
something. Oh,
when they're
my gosh,
dissecting
you're kidding.
bugs.
You're kidding.
Yep. So she has this whole monologue
That is
about
her.
bugs and everything. That's Blanche.
Blanche, girl.
Another really shocking appearance. There was a point in the movie where I was like, "Hey, remember this guy?
Yeah.
This random instructor, right?
I don't remember what he looked like either, by the way.
He's got no. It's okay. you won't know this person offhand, but
Okay.
just like a fun tidbit. So there's a guy. They're about ready to land on Klindathu, the main bug planet, and he's like giving him advice. He's like, "Shoot everything with 4 legs," and that was Gerald R. Ford's son, President Gerald Ford's son, was in this movie.
Well, funny, when you said Ford, at first I was going for like cars.
Oh, John
but
Ford?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
The
the
president. The
president's
president's son.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah. How about that?
Oh, how about that?
This movie's awesome, right?
This movie is slowly climbing up my list.
So favorite movies of all time?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's what I like to hear. So when they started filming this movie, they didn't have the rights to the name Starship Troopers yet. And since their material was so different, they weren't even like worried if they didn't get the rights.
Oh, really?
So they gave it this title. I want to know your opinion. The title was Bug Hunt at Outpost 9.
Terrible. Terrible title. Although
More
honest
fitting
and
to the
tells
movie.
us
yeah.
what we're about to expect.
Yeah.
Because I did not. Can I just say, like, when you said we were gonna watch Starship
What do
Troopers,
you think this movie was about?
I thought it was a comedy. I thought it was something more along the lines of Spaceballs.
Oh,
It's kind of more of what I was
okay.
settling in for, and
Yep.
then it did not happen that way.
No, it is not Spaceballs.
No, it's not Spaceballs.
Interesting. Okay.
So yeah, I was like a Mars Attacks or something like
Sure.
that, like but with space. Like we were
Yep.
making fun of all the Star Wars movies or something like that.
So you knew it was outlandish, but you didn't know it was seriously outlandish. You thought it was
Yeah.
comically outlandish.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
So maybe if I had watched it with a different lens, I wouldn't have been so disappointed.
Hey, what do you think they did for all the bugs? If you had to guess.
Like,
Do you think they're all like CGI? Do you
I
think they're all practical?
Some of
Like,
it
what did
looks
you get the sense for
CGI,
that?
I would say, but I think a couple of the times when they're doing like close-ups of people getting like chomped in half or
Sure.
like things going through their bodies, I think some of those looked like they were more real.
Mm-hmm.
So a mixture of practical effects and CGI
For
would be
sure.
my
They
guess.
absolutely did. But for the CGI ones, they had to do something to show people where the placement of the bugs were, like when they were shooting. And so what they would do is they would put like mops and brooms and just like random props on set and be like, there's a bug, there's a bug, there's a bug, there's a bug. Shoot at those things.
Choo, choo,
And
choo,
then,
choo.
choo, choo. And then sometimes the main CGI guy, he would put on, they had like this one like big horn that would like go through people, you know, as like a prop.
Oh, yeah, I
and he'd
remember.
wear it on his head and he'd go, I'm a big bug, I'm gonna effing kill you, I'm a big bug. And so he'd be like, shoot me, shoot me. And so that's how he would do certain things too. So they had to like get through some of that CGI. Now, I'm curious of what you thought of the CGI in this movie. How does it age?
I didn't think it was that bad, to be perfectly honest. I really didn't,
Yeah?
because it was late 90s. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is blasphemous to some people, but it looked better than some of the Star Wars episodes.
the
1, 2.
prequels.
Yeah, the prequels.
The prequels
Not
look way
not
worse
the
than
OGs,
this.
but the prequels. I think some
Yeah.
of those look real bad. At
Yeah, for
times.
sure. They look
So
rough.
it was very much on par with that, and I would imagine it didn't have near the budget that those have.
No,
so
I'm
part
sure
of
it
me was
didn't.
like, it's not too bad.
Yeah, I think
wasn't
you
too
will be
bad.
shocked at the budget. It was pretty high.
Yeah.
But
Oh, okay.
but I don't think that it aged terrible because of how they mixed practical with it. But they also, so like for the ships, they used the ships kind of like they did the original Star Wars movies and like the Star Trek movies and things like that, where you build a model,
Yeah.
and then you just like crash them into each other and like make effects.
I always think those look good.
And so the
though.
spaceship
I
stuff
really do.
looks really good.
I was not concerned about spaceships. It was just
Yeah.
more of like the bug pieces was
Sure.
the only part where I was like, oh, there's the CGI.
Yeah, yep.
I mean, obviously, they're not real spaceships, but I couldn't tell that they were CGI'd or anything. So, yeah.
Sweet.
Props.
Yeah, I think, major props, guys. You
Major
killed
props.
it. What'd you think of their uniforms?
That was the part where I saw some inspiration from World War II, especially
Yes.
like when the intellectuals or the psychics come
Uh-huh.
on, like they have these big coats and the sleeves are like I don't know. It just looks exactly like what the German uniforms used to look like.
They modeled them off the Third Reich.
Yeah,
for
they
sure.
did.
Even with the eagle brooches and like
Yes.
the collars and the medals that hang on the collars and stuff, everything was modeled off the Third Reich.
I could see
so
that.
yeah, you totally nailed that. They actually used a lot of the outfits, not for them, but for like the soldiers. The outfits they made for the soldiers.
Oh, yeah.
Those were brand new for this movie, and so they recycled them for a lot of things. Other movies would use them. The Power Rangers used them, like Firefly, like different sci-fi like TV shows would
Not
borrow
like
them.
back like, we're going to do a World War II movie.
No.
Can we use your guys' space uniforms? We'll just plant swastika right over top of that
No,
Starship Troopers
not
symbol.
exactly.
Oh, okay.
No, but they used the military infantry type of
Okay.
uniforms and like a lot of other things because they had spent so much money on them. So let's talk about the lack of costumes. Let's talk about.
Ooh, great segue.
Let's talk
Did you
about
write that in?
I didn't actually.
That's a really good segue.
Let's talk about a scene in the movie
Yes.
where you see a lot of details. Describe the scene for us.
All
Rach.
right, so the scene almost comes out of nowhere. There's a shower
It does
scene,
come out of nowhere.
right?
And it's really not integral in any of the plot at all.
No,
You just
but
hear people's opinions for why they joined the war.
It was it was very fascinating though. So in the infantry, men and women, everybody's mixed in together, which
Yep.
was actually really cool to see.
I like that. That was refreshing.
I did like that. The commanders were women. Like
Uh-huh.
there was no mix. So much so that like you guys bunk together and you shower together too. So you were all men and women together, just having a shower after daily training, and everyone's naked.
Yep.
And it
Everyone's
kind of
butt
comes out
naked.
of nowhere, and you're like, whoa.
And
Okay.
And you see all parts. Well, I don't know if you see men frontal, but
I
you
don't
see a
think
lot
so.
of stuff.
Yeah.
You see a lot of things. And so that scene, they were getting ready to film it. And the cast obviously felt weird about it.
Sure.
And was like, oh my gosh, this is so awkward. And they were like, well, why are you guys being so shy? We got to film this scene. And I think it was Rico or maybe somebody else. I'm pretty sure it was Rico. But they were like, hey, well, if it's so easy, why don't you guys get naked? And so the cinematographer and the director.
Shut it.
Cinematographer is from a nudist colony. And the director.
What are the odds?
And the director was like, okay, I'll do it. And so they got naked. And so then everybody else would get naked. And then they filmed the whole thing butt naked. And everybody's just naked in this room.
What? I'm just trying to picture that. When you're like on the chair, and he's like, all right, bring me in for the shot. It's just
Hey, come on, Leroy, stay away from me. Don't get too close.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is fascinating over a fascinating scene.
Yep.
Because everyone was really nonchalant about it.
For
Like,
sure.
everyone's just showering and talking like it's normal. And it's like, you know what? Maybe someday, we will aspire to just not even worry about any of that. But I think it also was interesting because it made, like, that shock and awe happened pretty early on in the movie. And then, like, later when you have, like, the love scene and we have, like, one of the female characters is
Yep.
nude, it's like, oh, it's like not even like
It's not a big
crazy.
deal
Like
at
you
all.
guys just see each other shower every day.
For sure.
you
Yep,
know,
yep.
like so part of like that, like, oh, it's the first time with each other, but
Yep.
it's like you shower every day. So
Yeah, you guys have seen everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
no mystery.
Now, the director said that he put that scene in there. He thought it was important to show like this gratuitous amount of nudity because he wanted to show that people were so focused on the war that they no longer cared about sex. Like that part of the world was not important because we were in a time of war and that was what was important at the time to the society.
Interesting.
That's what he was going for.
Wow, there's just a lot of like deeper meaning in this movie that I just didn't realize.
And that's some of the commentary. Some of the commentary at the time was this film glorifies war and seems like it is in support of fascism. And then in retrospect, now it's like, oh, this film was not in support of war. This was showing like how ridiculous war can be and about how fascism is so bad.
Fascinating.
But at the same time, it kind of glorifies it. So it's like a weird catch-22 that they're
It's
stuck
like
in.
it didn't do a good enough job of making fun of itself.
Yeah.
We couldn't tell if that's exactly what it is. I couldn't tell if it was taking itself seriously or not
Yeah.
at times.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
That's fascinating.
It is fascinating. Starship Troopers, fascinating.
Starship Troopers. You got to go watch it now.
I gotta rewatch it
You
again.
got to rewatch it again.
We need a remake. Stat.
Oh, don't worry. That's coming. That's been like pitched about forever.
Forever.
Now, there's a scene where they call it the coffer bug. Do you know what the coffer bug is?
Coffer bug.
It's the bug that coughs up red stuff that like spews all over people and like burns their arm off or burns their bodies.
It's like a flamethrower thing. Yeah. Yes.
So the coffer bug.
Coffer bug.
And now when they were filming this is the first scene with the coffer bug where it comes out of the ground and Rico jumps on the back of the coffer bug and he like blasts it in the back to like open up a cavity.
Makes like a little hole with all this orange goo.
Which, by the way, if that like is the same color of goo that that shoots out of the mouth, he sticks his hand in it and it doesn't burn his hand off.
Yeah, it's like maybe it's just igniter fluid and there's no flame.
So it's like like if you sliced an arm off a dragon, the blood's not gonna burn you. It's the dragon has like it's like a synthesis that goes through to shoot out flames.
Yes. It's exactly
Anatomy of
what
Dragons.
I'm saying.
Anatomy of Dragons 101, one of my favorite college courses. So there's that scene where he's like struggling to like throw the grenade into the coffer bug and explode it. It's pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah.
Rach, do you disagree? It wasn't
it's great. I loved it. I loved everything about it.
I
thought every action scene was called for and adequately timed. And I thought, like, gosh, I could just, if anything, I wanted more. I wanted more action.
You know what we're seeing here, ladies and gentlemen. We're seeing a recall back to Mortal Kombat when these long, drawn-out, sweet fight scenes were not appreciated by one Rachel Heisterkamp, Hutz/Hudson.
That's not my
Yeah,
name.
she becomes Heisterkamp when she disagrees with me.
Oh, I see. I like that.
And so I feel like that's the same thing with this movie. There's a little bit of, when there's too much action, Rach gets very turned off by it. Yep. She's like, I'm done.
I've already renamed this season, and this is a great time to tell you what I've decided to name this season.
What
this
is it?
season of Summer's Off is called the Payback Season. This is from all of the movies that we've made each other watch that we did not enjoy, and now like we're gonna go to the nth degree this season.
What's that mean for like coming movies?
Yeah.
I have some good ones for you. I have some other doozies for you, but I have some good ones.
Do you?
I do.
Do you have other good ones like this one? This is a good one. Yeah, more good ones. Great.
This is yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah, this solidifies what our scary movie is gonna be as well.
Oh no.
Yeah, the payback
season.
So back to Rico climbing all over this coffer bug.
Oh, Rico.
So when he jumps on, so it was actual like prop thing that they used, you know, that he jumps on, he throws a grenade into and everything. And he like cracked a bunch of ribs and he was like coughing up blood for a few days afterwards.
Oh no.
In fact, there was like a lot of injuries on this set.
Mm-hmm.
Jake Busey got heat stroke. When they're walking through the desert in that scene to go to that random outpost where they are like gonna go check in on him, they were in like 115 degree heat.
Ew.
And he was wearing that armor and everything, and so he got super sick and got heat stroke. They had to delay shooting for like 2.5 weeks, and they started like poking holes in the armor after that for all the desert scenes. And so they didn't care if the costumes didn't look as nice because they had to like air them out, you know, and make sure that their actors didn't die out there.
Oh my gosh.
It ended up costing the studio $1.5 million to delay that shooting too. So it was a huge delay, and it cost a lot of money.
Well, it's hot.
They filmed this though. What state do you think they filmed this in?
Nevada.
No.
New Mexico.
Nope.
Utah.
No.
I'm out.
Wyoming.
Oh, Wyoming.
Which isn't like,
really?
I don't think we've been to Wyoming a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Like Wyoming's not like the crazy hottest state in the world. It's actually got a really nice cool breeze a lot of times, and it's pretty nice. But they filmed it on a piece of land called Hell's Half Acre.
Well, what genius went out and scouted sites and was like,
this is the one.
This is the
place.
place.
Well, you saw how cool it was, how rocky it looks.
It was very
looks
cool.
awesome.
It looked kind of like the Badlands / meets desert. Like, it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
But come on.
Hey,
come on.
There's other names for this too. And then I want you to think of like a name that you would make up for this place.
Okay.
So there's Hell's Half Acre. There's Baby Grand Canyon. There's the Devil's Kitchen. And there's the Pits of Hades.
These are all so good.
Do you have one that you'd like to share with us?
Just to keep with the alliteration, Beelzebub's Black Hole.
I love it. That's so great. I was trying to think of something with Lucifer, so that's terrific.
Lucifer's lunchbox. That doesn't make any sense.
That's so good.
It's not. It's
Welcome
not.
to Lucifer's Lunchbox, ladies and gentlemen.
Hope you don't lose yours.
Oh, that's great. Dude, that is wonderful.
It's not.
That is awesome.
Thanks, though.
If you want that, that is currently copyrighted, so you need to come give us some money.
Pending.
Yep. Now, during filming, they used 300,000 rounds of ammunition.
Gosh.
That is the most of any movie. It beat Face Off, which is on our list, by the way. That's a great movie. You're gonna love that movie. That's not for this season, but in the future.
Darn it. I'm actually looking forward to that.
Jarhead. I've never seen that movie. That's a Jake Gyllenhaal war movie.
I have seen that movie.
And then Mission Impossible 2. Those are the other ones on the list. But this movie took the cake. Mm-hmm. It has the award. And in fact, now that CGI's come about, the number of bullets don't even get close anymore.
No.
And so now it's going to hold the record forever.
Until someone's like, nope, we're going back.
We're going for that Starship Troopers record.
I mean, they just splay them out at these fake mops and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, they just go brrrr. So, I guess, the bugs won't die. They're really hard to kill.
They are. Sometimes. And then other times they're very easy to kill, and like there's like one guy fending off like killing like 20 bugs, and part of me is like, it took like 20 guys to kill one bug at the beginning of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Are we getting that much better?
We just got that much better.
Yep, maybe that is what it is. We got that much better.
We just got that much better.
Yep. Now, along with those 300,000 bullets, there were 17 gallons of fake blood that were used in this movie.
Oh my god.
Which is a lot. And then according to the cast and crew, countless other gallons of green and orange goo substance
so much goo.
that was used as well.
So much goo in a lot of scenes, in the dissection scenes, and it's disgusting. Hey, do you want to tell everyone your story about fake blood?
What's my story about fake blood?
How you got third-degree burns from fake blood?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I can. Yes. Okay. Production of Evil Dead that Rach and I were in together. I was playing Ash and she was playing Annie, and there is a lot of fake blood in that show. Now, we did 2 shows a night, and we do like a 7 o'clock show and we do a midnight show, which is awesome. The midnight show was
fun.
a rock concert. It was so cool.
It was a good time.
Now, we only could afford to have one set of costumes, though. So they decided for the fake blood, they're going to put laundry detergent in it just because it's easy to wash out. Understandable. Makes sense. The problem is laundry detergent causes chemical burns on your skin. And so I would get this stuff
Didn't think about
all over me, and then my skin would get irritated. And in fact, one place where I got a ton of blood that would spray right on me, it was this funny moment, the crowd loved it, was right on the crotch. And so after this show concluded, I had probably what were some sort of degree of chemical burns directly on my crotch, which was fantastic.
Sorry,
I was
everyone.
worried.
Too much info, but
I was
here
worried
you
I was never
go.
going to have kids. There was a lot of concerns that came about. But yeah, so that's my experience with fake blood.
Now, imagine 17,000 gallons of it.
Awesome.
Being bathed in it.
Yeah, there you go.
Everywhere.
Have you ever dealt with fake blood on stage?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
And I was
It's
in that.
fun.
I was in that show, but I didn't have any fake blood.
Yeah, because you survived pretty
I
much.
don't
till the
bleed my
very
own
end.
blood.
Yeah.
Out of the ashes of Buenos Aires comes first sorrow, then anger.
The only good bug is a dead bug.
Awesome. So there's a scene where they're at that outpost, and they're like
The
checking
Mormon
in.
outpost?
Yeah, is that what they say? They
I
say
don't
it's
know.
Mormon?
Which would have been fascinating. It sounded like there was a group of spaceship troopers that went out early to maybe try to like colonize
Yeah, I
this
think
like
so.
bug place.
They were in the quarantine zone. They shouldn't have been there. That was the bug quarantine. You can't go in there.
Yeah. So they make this like little outpost, kind of like the Wild Wild West or whatever.
Yep.
And lo and behold, the insects kill them all.
Yep.
But I swear that he said the Mormon outpost.
He
And
might
part of
have.
me's
He
like,
might have.
Maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
We need a rewatch.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, the Mormons came to Utah like when that wasn't really colonized and stuff. Like they're probably just
They were just trying to, escape persecution,
Yeah.
further persecution in the future again from the fascist new Nazis.
and then they got persecuted by bugs.
And then the bugs killed them.
Yep.
This is getting to be better and better by the minute.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
You're
really
liking
actually liking this
Yeah,
movie
your
now.
score is going up. I'm watching it.
I'm not lying. It's going up a little bit. It's going up a little bit.
So the scene where they go to the outpost, but it's not that outpost. I think it's a different one that they think is like safe, and there's military people, and they see like a crazy general there, and he's like, "There's a brain bugs. There's a brain bug." And so when they go to that outpost, that whole sequence, which is kind of like the more scary, like thrilling type of moment, I think, in the movie, that is based on a movie called Zulu, which has these like British troops in, I think, Africa somewhere, and they're at an outpost, and they're trying to like fight off the like Zulu tribesmen, and like there's direct quotes taken from that movie. So like, we're gonna die, we're all gonna die. That's right from that movie, and there's like I think there was 3 or 4 of them that were all directly pulled from that movie. So it's like an homage.
Fascinating.
It's for my in-depth movie buffs. So the film came out on November 7th, which would have made it perfect to attend right after Thanksgiving dinner.
Lose your lunch.
Its primary competition was the Bean movie.
The Bean movie?
Do you remember Mr. Bean's
Mr.
movie?
Bean?
Yep.
I mean, no, I don't remember it, but
So
yeah.
that was number 1.
Of course it was. That's a great family movie.
Number
for
2.
Thanksgiving?
Sure, yeah. Number 2 was the re-release of The Little Mermaid.
Oh.
They re-released it in 97, I guess. We're like, hey, we're coming back to the theaters.
Yeah, awesome.
And
Love it.
so this was number 3. So it's in good company.
Yeah, great company.
Yep. And they actually were doing studies at this time to talk about rated R movies and kids sneaking into movie theaters. So the New York Times, they gave 5,000 movie tickets to Starship Troopers to underage kids to have them infiltrate the movie theater and see if they could get in. And like a crazy percentage, I don't remember what it was, but a crazy percentage of them were able to watch Starship Troopers, even if they were young kids.
Sure.
They were able to sneak in. And, I guess not even sneak in. They had tickets.
Yeah, think about it.
So they were like, I already have a ticket, and then they
people
just...
Oftentimes, I bet they don't read what's on the ticket. I'm not going to look at it and be like, oh, you're going to go see Downton Abbey again, huh? You know, like, you don't look at it. You just tear it and you say, over here.
And so not only did that kind of like bolster a little bit of the revenue, but at the same time, the like study was done, and then they cracked down on rated R movies a little bit more in the movie theaters after that study. So Starship Troopers hurt the ability for you and I years later to sneak into movies.
Yeah.
What movies have you snuck into, Rach?
I've never snuck into any movies.
What?
No.
Never?
No.
Oh,
You've snuck into movies?
Yep, I snuck into Not Another Teen Movie.
When you say
was
sneak
rated
in,
R.
you mean like you bought a ticket for another movie and then just went to a rated R one instead? Or do you
Yes.
mean like do like a double feature, like where you go to another one?
I've never done the double feature thing.
I've never done either of these things. I was just making you clarify what you did.
I did
so
the
wrong.
thing where you buy a movie ticket to one thing and you go to another thing. I don't remember what movie I bought a ticket to
Probably
for
easier.
Not Another Teen Movie. Or maybe that one was a double feature. Maybe I went to that one after. I don't remember.
So you stole.
Maybe I stole that one. But there was a movie that I got kicked out of. I've gotten kicked out of a movie before.
You got kicked out of a movie?
Well, yeah. So I got snuck into Darkness Falls, that movie about the Tooth Fairy, who like there's a movie about the Tooth Fairy. It's scary though, and whenever you hit the darkness, she like comes in, she swoops you up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. From what I remember as a kid, as a teenager. So I got snuck into Darkness Falls. Somebody had bought me a ticket. But I did the thing where you buy a ticket. I bought a ticket to Lilo and Stitch, which, by the way, to this day, that's a movie I've never seen.
You never seen
in
Lilo and
its
Stitch?
totality. I've only seen parts of it.
Oh, okay.
So I bought
good to know.
a ticket to Lilo and Stitch, and then we snuck into the movie Fear.com, which I saw later on. It was horrible. It wasn't scary. It was just stupid.
Yeah.
And so I was sitting in Fear.com for the first like 10 minutes, and then this guy comes in and he starts counting numbers, and we're like, oh God, what's going on here? And then he's like, wait, and he sees the numbers are off, so he comes right up to us right off the bat. It's like he freaking knew. And he was like, I need to see your 3 movie tickets. So I was here, or actually 4 of us. I was there with Jeff and Mike and our other buddy.
You don't have to name your accomplices.
No, I do. Jeff and Mike, you know what you did. And so we all got kicked out of the movie. And my buddy David, who was with us, he was yelling at the usher. Jeff and Mike and I were just just walking
You're
out,
like,
like
yeah,
whatever.
we got it.
We messed up because they escort you out of the theater. You don't just get to go to Lilo and Stitch now.
Yeah.
You're out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You have to sacrifice your money. Well, our buddy David was like yelling and arguing and like, this is crap. We shouldn't get kicked out. Haven't you ever been a kid before? Let's go to Lilo and Stitch. Get your hands off me. Like, he was super controversial about it.
Yeah.
The son of a lawyer. Doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were just like, whatever. So I have gotten in trouble about sneaking into movies.
Fascinating. Do
But
you
you
feel
have
better
not.
now?
Do I feel better that I snuck in?
No, that you've confessed.
No.
Oh.
I don't care. I really felt nothing then, and I still feel nothing about it.
I learned no lessons. No. It's not that I wasn't like above it. I just never did it. Never came about. I always went to the movies I wanted to see. I didn't like a lot of like our movies are usually scary. Like I hate scary
True,
movies,
yeah.
so like I wasn't gonna sneak into anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I did watch my first rated R movie when I was 13 years old.
What was it?
Speed.
That was the movie?
It was rated R. Isn't that silly?
That was just for language, probably.
Yeah, probably.
That movie's not bad at all. That's a good movie, but that's
It was a good movie.
That's not like a naughty movie.
No. At one of my friend's birthday parties, also I think that same year, 7th grade, all the girls at the sleepover watched the movie Jawbreaker.
I don't know that movie.
Oh, it's a little creepy,
Yeah.
but it's not scary. Now looking back, I shouldn't have been afraid. I was afraid.
You were very afraid.
I mean, yeah.
You were too sheltered.
Marilyn
You
Manson's in it. It's weird.
Oh, that is-
For like just like a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Because he's dating Rose McGowan, and she's like one of the main
Oh,
chicks.
I know what movie you're talking
Yeah,
about.
it's like the girls, they like kidnap their friend to be kind of like a joke, and like they
Uh-huh.
put her in the back of the trunk,
And
and
she
they
dies.
put a jawbreaker in her mouth, and
Yep,
then like
she chokes on it.
this is a scary visual. They open up the trunk, and she's like her eyes are like all bugged out, and you can see like a giant
Bulge
in her throat. And
Yep.
then like they all swear no one's gonna tell. I'm pretty sure it's like what Pretty Little Liars is based off of.
Sure.
I think they all got their ideas from Jawbreaker.
Hey, remember when we were in Fairmont, Minnesota, and all the girls started calling me Ezra off Pretty Little Liars, which I looked up and I was like, wow, that's a really high compliment. And then I made them mad, and they started calling me Steve off Blue's Clues.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Those mean girls.
Honestly, 9th graders are the worst.
Yeah.
They're terrifying. Like, I will take any grade but 9th graders. I love 8th graders. I love sophomores, but 9th graders are the worst. They're
For
just
sure.
brats.
Yeah, definitely.
They're just brats.
Yep.
Sorry, 9th graders.
I went from Ezra to Steve. I'll never forget that.
How the mighty have fallen.
If you had to guess, how much would you guess this movie cost? How much would you guess this movie cost?
Well, delaying it a couple of weeks cost a couple mil. So
Mhm.
let's just throw out this movie cost $50 million.
$105 million. It was very expensive.
Wow.
And on opening weekend, it only made $22 million. So it did not do well to start off with. It ends up slowly recouping its money. I think it made $120 million overall, but only $50 million in the U.S. So it did a lot better internationally than it did at the U.S.
Oh, we love that crazy
Yeah,
movie.
the Germans, I really loved it. Oh.
There's some things I feel so good about this movie. I don't know what it is. It's the costumes.
Oh my gosh. So it's gradually become a cult classic, but to start off with, it did really poorly, kind of like I mentioned, because of the fascism and the glorifying war and stuff like that. It's got a Rotten Tomatoes score, though, that's kind of like balanced out over time.
Mm-hmm.
Its score now is 64%.
Oh, so just fresh.
Just fresh. It says this for the consensus. Oh, wow, you've got really narrow eyes,
I'm
don't
just
you?
like
You're really
thinking
taking
about
that in, huh?
that. That's interesting.
Here's the critics' consensus.
Yes.
A fun movie. ... if you can stand the excessive gore and wooden acting.
Wooden acting. I've never heard it referred to as that, but that
That's
makes
pretty
a lot
fair.
of sense. Wooden acting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I support that.
But one thing you'll be shocked by.
What, the audience scores high?
No. Oh, I'm sure it is, but I don't remember. The thing you'll be shocked by is this movie was nominated for an Oscar.
No. For what? CGI?
Special
Yeah,
effects.
special effects.
It lost to Titanic
That
Which is
makes sense.
ridiculous.
Yeah, special effects
No,
for Titanic.
Titanic special effects?
That boat wasn't real.
No,
That boat wasn't
those
real.
effects were trash. Starship Troopers were way better.
Trash. It was not trash.
I know, I'm just trying to get everybody hyped up.
They were so cool.
Yeah, they were awful.
Titanic was awesome, man.
It was. It was.
It was.
It was great. Just so everybody knows,
They
they
all
were
took
truly
place
great.
in a pool. A pool, Ty. Can you imagine?
I can't.
Crazy. Looked like the ocean.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Hey, you mentioned sequels and people wanting to redo it. Did you know there's sequels to this movie?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I knew there were more, but I guess I think I don't want a sequel. I want a remake. I want like a brand new gritty take the story, but like make it good.
Sure. Yeah. No, there was a sequel. The first sequel that came out is really lame. It's like.
Is Rico in it?
No, he's not in it at all. Nobody's in it from the original.
You don't have any gorgeous people in it.
There's not very many gorgeous people in the remake at all, or in the sequel at all. And it's about like they go to this outpost, kind of like Think the Outpost scene, but like that's the whole movie. And there's this bug that now can travel and like get into your system, and then it like controls your actions. And so it's almost like a scary movie. Like I don't know. There's several movies out there, kind of like The Faculty.
Oh, well, that's a good movie.
Yeah,
that I remember.
Yeah, I know. I don't know
Again,
if it's still as good.
Any movie that you saw like when you were however old.
You can't trust anything.
If it's been 20 years,
Yep.
I think you have to rewatch it before you can say
I think so too.
if it was good.
Yeah. And so there's like bugs traveling from person to person and like and making them kill each other and stuff. And so you're like trying to figure out who's a bug and who's not. So that's like the second movie. It's lame, stupid. The third movie, they bring Rico back.
Yes.
It's called Marauders. And it's more actiony, but it's also pretty lame. I've seen both of them, and yeah, I would never watch them.
Can you spell Marauders?
Marauder?
That sounds right.
I didn't write it down, so I don't know if I'm right or not.
Audience, let us know
On the Facebook.
next week. Let us know on the Facebook if I spelled that word right or not. I don't even know if I can like visualize it. Marauders. Okay.
Now, there are some animated movies I think would be kind of cool, because you can do anything in animated movies.
Oh, you mean like an animated version of this?
Yeah, animated version of Starship Troopers.
Like the rated R version?
I think
it?
so, probably. Be sweet.
Gosh, I don't know.
That'd be so cool.
I don't know.
Fun for the whole family.
That's the thing. I think again, it would just emphasize that it doesn't know what it wants to be.
Well,
and it doesn't do it seriously one way or the other.
They have wanted to make a TV show, kind of like Stargate. You know that was a movie and that became a TV show. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
We're never gonna watch it. I don't like it, but people love it.
Okay.
So they want to make the Starship Troopers TV show as well. Now, the film starts off with this like fun little sequence, right? Like there is like a bunch of clips and stuff, and it says, "Do you want to know more?" And then like you click on different things.
Oh, this film does.
Yeah, this film does.
Yes.
Where there's like all these different things.
Yeah. It's kind of like their news or their like their internet kind of. It's like, yeah, watch this video, and it's kind of a cool concept.
I think so too, and it kind of accurately predicts like news media and what it's like to be like clicking from link to link and everything. But there's right off the bat, the very first thing you see is this like propaganda film. And it shows like kids with guns or whatever, and then like the guys are smiling and stuff. That whole sequence, and it shows everybody like in position, like in formations, and there's a flag waving and stuff. That is all almost shot for shot taken from a Nazi propaganda film.
Yes, I bet it is.
Which is pretty cool.
And now that you say that, it just makes it cooler. But again, at the time, I just wasn't sure
what was going on.
Knew what it was doing.
Now, this movie had unintended consequences, though, because a really far-right, semi-fascist group in Australia, political group, they took a lot of the slogans from this movie and tried to, like, utilize them. This is kind of like when, didn't we say it was Mitt Romney used the Clear Eyes, Full Hearts, Can't Lose from Friday Night Lights? Sometimes powerful groups try to steal your stuff. If you had to guess how many people died in this movie, what would you guess?
In real life?
No, in the movie.
Someone died during filming?
No, nobody died.
That's fascinating. How many people, like, died in this
like, if you did a kill count, yeah.
Well, it's hard because at one point, the bug asteroid hits Buenos Aires, and so the whole town, city...
That's true.
...is done. So I can't even venture.
Well, yeah, and that one, they're, like, counting, like, 10 million dead.
Yeah, I was going to say, Probably. That sounds about right.
Let's just go off of people that you saw like a bug kill in this movie.
Okay.
Because I think that's what this number is.
Okay.
How many people get slaughtered by bugs?
50?
Nope. More.
100?
More.
Lots more?
Yep.
500.
Not that much. 256.
Dang it.
I feel like
Gonna
this,
say 200.
I feel like this is always the thing too. More, way more, and then you way overshoot. You're like, no, that's not that's too much.
So wrong. That's so wrong, you idiot.
No, it's more like I shouldn't have said way more. Is what I always think at this moment. Hey, surprisingly, Denise Richards and Casper Van Dien, they were in a movie before this,
Oh, were they?
and it was called
Do we want to know what kind of movie they were
Kill
in before
Shot.
this? Oh, Kill Shot.
and it has a volleyball on the cover. Rach, what's Kill Shot about?
Is it about volleyball?
I
Have
don't
you
know.
looked it
tell
up?
me. You tell me.
Yes, it's about volleyball. I'll answer my own question on that. It's kind of like Baywatch because they're both
But they don't do volleyball.
they
in Baywatch?
beach volleyball.
Oh.
It's a beach volleyball team, but they're like lifeguards, and then they have like a league where they all play volleyball against other lifeguards of neighboring beaches. It's
I thought you said they bring beaches.
no, no. You know what I mean? So you've got like, oh, we're the whatever beach against this other beach. Yeah, well, our lifeguard's better than yours. We'll prove it. Let's take it to the sand. And that's the tagline.
And so are they love interests in that movie too?
Of course they're love interests. Look
oh
at
my
them.
gosh, that's crazy.
You just can't deny the chemistry between these two. Apart from the wooden acting, there's a lot of like just visual chemistry, I should say.
I think the fact that they both have wooden acting, I think helps their chemistry.
They're just so beautiful. You just want to be like, stop talking, both of you.
Stop talking.
Stop
just
talking.
Make out.
No more words.
Hey, how'd you feel when Rico at the beginning of the movie, he draws this really cool picture on this tablet of them like coming in for a kiss, and then she does like a bubblegum pop to the face.
Yeah, like get out of here.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say as I knew she's playing with them, and she has her sights set on her career, which I did not fault her at all. I thought that was actually really cool. She was like, yeah, we'll stay together, and then they break up when she's a pilot, and she's like, I need to focus on my career. And I was like, get it, girl.
That's so interesting you just said that.
Why?
Because test audiences
Hated
that.
that.
In
I
fact,
know
they
they do.
hated Denise Richards in test audiences. And for one thing, she has more of a relationship with her co-pilot.
She does.
But she had more in the original version than what we saw.
Oh.
So, like, you never see them kiss. You just assume that they're kind of together. So there's a guy who's like Rico's foil, I guess, and rival. And
Yeah, they play basketball against each other at one point.
Yep. Or football.
Whatever.
Whatever. Space football with gymnastics and less
Stupid.
armor, and so you get hurt more.
Why did we even start in high school? Could we have just started like later in it?
The idea was originally to cast high school kids. And then they were going to have to get them all to sign releases to be naked in the movie.
Oh,
and then the
God.
studio execs were like, this is way too much work,
No,
and
no,
we're
no,
going to
no,
get
no,
in
no,
big
no.
trouble for this. Why
Yeah.
are we doing this? Just
No.
cast 20-year-olds. And so they had to go back on that.
Yeah. Cast like 26-year-olds.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. That's how old some of these people looked.
Oh, for sure. I'd say they look closer to 30 sometimes.
I would say.
So
Sorry.
this guy that plays his like
Yes,
his
the
rival.
adversary / other love interest.
Yeah, so she and Denise Richards breaks up with Rico, and then you kind of just assume that she's with this other guy who gets his brain eaten by the brain bug.
Spoiler.
Well, we've done a
Come
couple
on,
of
man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
So the that guy, which by the way, do you think he's more attractive than Johnny Rico?
There were times he has a really silly haircut.
Yeah, he does.
It's very short on the sides and then floppy on top, and it just, yeah. There were times though that I was like, "Ooh, he's really cute,"
Yeah.
but I think it's still Rico.
Oh wow, you're
It's
going for
still
chiseled jaw,
Johnny
huh? The-
German Rico.
Oh, Heisterkamp.
Heisterkamp.
So, well, I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh, there we go. I got it. So test audiences didn't like that guy at all.
Sure.
They thought when Denise Richards hooks up with him, they're like, she needs to die. The general commentary from test audiences was,
How dare she?
why are you killing Diz, who becomes Rico's love interest,
Yes.
who is awesome. She's in love with him from the start. You can tell she's a total babe.
She's awesome.
She's very attractive.
She's
She's
cool.
she's a good actress,
She
too.
should have been squad leader.
She is probably one of
She
the
is.
better actresses out of
I
that
would
group.
say she's probably the best female actress in the movie.
Yeah, she's good. And so audiences loved her. They thought she was awesome. And they're like, you killed Diz? But you let Denise Richards live, who's annoying and who's a terrible actress and who hooks up with this other guy. Like, she's the one who needs to die. And so the test audiences, after their feedback, they had to go back and, like, re-edit the film to, like, take out the romantic interest for Denise Richards' character and then to, I don't know, like, play down the relationship aspects even of, like, Diz and Rico's characters and stuff. So they had to, like, do a bunch of editing.
What? And in the end, too, like, when he ends up rescuing her, like, it doesn't lean towards necessarily having to be romantic.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like.
Sure.
I mean, a part of me liked it because it was so different than what I was expecting or what was, like, the cliche to happen. So I guess I would say that to test audiences. It's been umpteen years now since it came out, and that's actually refreshing that it was so different and it wasn't so predictable.
Well, this will disappoint you. They had Denise Richards and Johnny Rico, they have a kiss that got cut about a week before they opened the film.
At the end?
Yeah, they cut it like a week before releasing. Yeah, and it was at the very end.
Why would I'm not disappointed. I think that's good.
Well, no, it's good that they cut it. But like they were like the whole idea for the film was they get back together.
Yeah,
for the majority of the filming process.
No, I think that was good editing on their part. Take it out. We don't need it.
Take that out.
Take that out.
Hey, there's a scene where they're in training and a guy has his hat and it's malfunctioning, right?
Yes.
And then Rico tells him to take it off and he gets shot in the face.
Yeah, because they were playing with live ammunition, apparently.
Live
I didn't know that was
ammunition.
happening until it happened.
So the girl who trips and falls and shoots that guy in the face, those two are married in real life.
What?
They were married.
Were they married in the movie, too?
They were married before they shot this film. So they were also naked in front of all those people together.
Were their characters married?
No.
But in real life.
But in real life, they were.
Fascinating.
Yep.
That's cool.
That's cool.
That's really cool. If we could be in a movie together and be like, hey, guess what? I get to kill your character.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That's so cool. And then I get kicked out of the army.
But how would you feel if it was like, hey, we got to be naked in front of all these people?
We're going to do it together.
Yeah, at least we're together.
I don't know. If I had to, I would rather do it with you.
That's true.
Than
There's
without
a lot
you.
of truth to
I
that.
don't know.
Yep. Hey, this movie predicted a lot of things, by the way. They got tablets right. We talked about the news, like, and how like we consume news media. Green violins that are shiny and nice. Football that's done with more acrobatics than actual playing football. I feel like there's a lot of stuff. The music.
God, the music. Oh my gosh. Well, I love it because they had like apparently like a dance that ended up being kind of like a prom, but all of their dresses were very current. In that, like, they're all like late 90s dresses for prom. Everything was styled. It was like, where are we in time right now? I'm so confused. And then we would go back to their, fascist wardrobe the next day, futuristic-y. But no, we're holding tight to like the butterfly clips and the makeup. Everything was just late 90s to the T. It's great.
Oh my gosh! In the third movie, so they have what's called sky marshals, and those are like what the presidents are. So in the third Starship Troopers movie, you know what I'm talking about?
I have a very blank look on my face,
okay.
And I was hoping you would just not notice it.
In the first movie, there's what's called a Sky Marshal.
Okay.
And he's like the president, and he gets relieved of duty after they try to invade the bug planet. It goes horrible.
Okay.
And then they had this black woman become Sky Marshal, which is awesome.
Yes, okay, I'm talking about it.
And so then you have a new Sky Marshal. Well, in the third movie, the Sky Marshal is this like celebrity who sings a song and like dances, and he sings this horrible song about like sacrificing for your country, and it's like a pop hit. And it is horrible. He looks like Buster off Arrested Development. I should just show you it. It's incredible. I can't believe it's an actual thing. And the third movie goes to that lengths. I watched it earlier today. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this happens.
The eagle high above us makes our spirits soar and gives us strength to go and win this war. It's a good day to die when you know the reasons why. Citizens, we fight for what is right. A noble sacrifice. When duty calls, you pay the price. For the Federation, I will give my life. Good duty. Awesome.
So, yeah, the music in this just filmography is awful. I think it's just like one of the things they kind of stick to throughout all the films.
Didn't you talk about, like, maybe someday if you were going to open a theater company and you guys were going to do some cult classics, was this one of your movies that you wanted to make a cult
No,
classic
but it
musical
would have
out
been
of?
great. It would have
Then
been
you
great.
could dabble a little bit from.
Yeah, we already have one of the songs
samplings.
written.
Yeah,
It's
done.
at the dance.
It's at the dance, whatever that song was.
Yeah, whatever that weird else song
Oh,
was.
so weird. So weird.
Hey, I want to ask you, who do you think's hotter between Dizzy and Denise Richardson?
I mean, Denise Richards.
Richards? Did I say
Richards?
Richardson?
Yeah. Denise Richards.
Oh, cool.
Pretty sure. Now I'm doubting myself.
Well, yeah, and
Uh-oh.
I think Denise is hotter, like, for the most
She's
part.
a worse actress, but she's hotter.
But Dizzy's acting, I'll be honest, there was parts of it I was like, oh, she's really pretty, and she's a better actress. Like, I found myself more attracted to her at times.
She's got like cute curly like red hair. Dina Meyer. I wonder, has she done anything? Let's click on her.
This is good podcasting right now.
Good
Rach
podcasting.
goes through
Keep
her
talking. Keep distracting people. Like, nope, just some Starship stuff.
Okay.
Very fun.
So-
she was in Saw. Saw
Oh.
2.
Oh, okay.
That's all I have to say about that.
Cool. Very cool. Rach, there is a moment in this movie where they're playing like this weird version of laser tag, where it's like when they're training, and when you get hit with like a laser, like your suit activates and you no longer can shoot and you like fall to the ground. It looks like it's kind of zapping
you get like
you.
shocked a little bit.
Yep. I love the idea of this laser tag game.
You said that, and I think that's great. But you also were like, yeah, because then it would actually hurt. And I was like, it does hurt when not laser tag, but paintball really hurts.
Paintball does
you
hurt.
get hurt.
But when you get hit with a paintball, you still can like hit people and stuff, and like
Sure.
you can, I don't know, like deny that you got hit or something. I don't know, like you can kind of cheat.
Can you?
But in this game, when you get hit, you're zapped and you're on the ground. Like,
I would hate it. I at one point tried to like lie to myself and think that, oh, if I ever play laser tag, I bet I'd be pretty good.
Whoa.
I had the experience of trying that out, and I was not good.
But we can't ignore the fact that we did it at a bowling alley where those laser tag games, there's always good guns and bad guns.
Yeah.
There are good guns and bad guns, and sometimes you get a crappy gun and you're done, man. You're toast.
I really appreciate it, but
It's like the Ghost Blasters game in the Mall of America.
oh,
Sometimes
yes.
you'll have a buddy who will kill it,
Yes.
and he'll know what car to get into, and you'll be like, how does he do so well? And he's like, oh, I always pick the same car because that one has the good guns. And you're like, yeah, my guns are shit. That's not fair. So, I mean, that's
There you
just the
go.
way it is.
That's just the way it is.
Hey, if you were a teacher in this time, do you think you would also have them take nasty cockroaches out on the pavement and have these little kids squish bugs? Is that
Oh,
is
that
that
was
like a good
so-
lesson plan?
So gross. I wonder too, like, were those real? And
Those were real.
and cockroaches like really like spew out that much grossness
Yeah,
when
those
you step
were.
on
They
them?
got these huge cockroaches. They're from like another country, and they brought them over to
I'll be
get
honest,
squished in
I
that
don't
scene.
really like. Obviously, I'm not like a big bug fan, but there was a part of me that thought that when bugs are that big, it's almost like animal cruelty
Sure.
because they were that big.
Well, you mentioned you thought the brain bug was cute.
It was kind of cute.
Yeah.
He's got like these
Big
eyes.
brown
His
eyes.
face in the middle is a little whatever.
Precarious.
Precarious.
Looks
look
like
look at the photos of
looks
that.
like women's genitalia.
Yeah,
Really
for sure.
blatant.
But the eyes on the side were kind of like, I don't know, in a weird way,
But
kind of
he
cute.
sucks your brain out.
Well, once they took off the thing, once they cut off his like little poker thing that could suck your brain out, he was just a big blob.
Yeah.
And it's funny because then they brought him out. They're like, we found the bug with the brain. And then they take one of their psychics because the psychics can like read minds and stuff.
Mhm.
And this is Neil Patrick Harris, his character. He comes up and he puts his hand on him. And he's like, what's he feeling? What's he thinking? He's like, he's scared. Like, oh,
He's afraid.
he's afraid. That's, I mean, were you a little bit like eye roll at that point?
Well, of course he's afraid. He's just like got captured
He's
by a bunch of
afraid.
dudes.
Yeah, I can tell you when my dog's afraid every time I put tennis shoes on. I can tell you. Her
Yeah, that's
tail's
true.
down, her
Even-
ears are down, like she's afraid.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
leaving.
true.
She's gonna
Even
go
when Neil
downstairs.
Patrick Harris went to touch him, he like backed away. I was like, oh, he's afraid.
Genius.
Maybe they meant more philosophically, like he's afraid we're gonna lose the war. The bugs are gonna lose the war.
Mhm.
Maybe that's what we were more supposed to take from it.
Maybe.
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 All right. I want to ask you, why do you think all military people say the word Niner? Delta
Niner?
Fox Niner. Yeah, we've got 379er over here.
Maybe when you say 9, it's too much like no. And then with Germany.
That's exactly right.
Is it really?
Yeah.
What?
I can't believe you got that.
I
By the
would
way,
be
they
a-
don't say 3. I think they say tree. But
Tree?
Yeah, there's like 4 numbers.
There's probably because it doesn't sound good over frequency.
Yeah.
You have to see it to hear it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 5 they don't do. I think they say fife because otherwise 5 sounds too much like fire. Yeah, or something like that. Yeah, I was reading about it.
Fascinating.
All right. I want to talk.
If I was in the academy, I would be a psychic. Psychic levels.
Well, you're a psychologist, so that makes sense.
No, I'd be a pilot.
Yeah, you would be lame-o. I'd be infantry for sure.
No, you wouldn't.
On
You'd be
the
a
ground.
pilot. You did so well in school. You're a pilot.
I
for
know, but I told you. I'm not gonna say it on there. I just said a lot of the nerdy kids want to become pilots. I want to be cool.
Gosh.
What was your favorite death in the movie?
My favorite death?
Yeah, what death did you think was the craziest?
Maybe not the craziest. Well, it was kind of crazy. So when the plane is exploding and Denise Richards and her second boyfriend and their captain are like running off, they're trying to evacuate the big ship that's now slowly falling into space sea or whatever it does. She ends up somehow getting cut in half by the door that's closing, the lead commander does, and but she still has enough to say get out of here, Richards. No, that's not her name. That's an order. I just thought it was silly, so I wrote it down for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, you laughed at it. You're like, oh, of course. You made a comment and then scoffed at it.
So that one stuck with me.
Sure.
That was.
You're still pondering it today.
I'm still thinking about it too, even as we speak.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
What are some other ones that you can think of that were crazy?
I mean, I think the brain bug sucking the pilot's brain out is a good one.
Yeah. That's good.
I think the one where their teacher, who then becomes their commander later on in the film, when he gets sucked down into this pit, and they're trying to pull him out of it, and all of a sudden they pull him out, and it's only the top half of his body.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty crazy.
That's pretty crazy, and he tells them, "Do it, shoot me."
Yep.
And he does.
He does.
Without even blinking.
Yeah. He hesitates a little bit.
No. Not enough. Not enough for an acting moment.
Yeah,
it's
that's
pretty
true.
wooden.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay.
Dizzy's acting. She's like, oh, what do we do? Yeah, I'm like, oh, I can see. This is a Matt Damon moment. You're really working hard on this. I love Matt Damon. That's the Jimmy Kimmel joke.
Working very hard up there. Buying a zoo.
All right. Let's talk about acting. Anything else that you would like to discuss? And then we'll get into your review.
I mean, I think we kind of hit the acting piece of it, unless you have anything else to add to it. I thought it was garbage.
Yep, it was hot garbage.
Hot garbage.
But it was fun. It's fun, ridiculous garbage, I think.
Yeah, mostly.
Yep. Do you want to talk about any other moments in the movie stand out to you?
I mean, you know me when it comes to, I think you're learning this more and more about me as we're forced to watch these action movies, that at a certain point, at minute 9, I start to glaze over a little bit and yawn, and I know that this shot costs a lot of money. Same with car chases. It's I know that
I get that way with car chases.
I should be more impressed with all these cars flipping and wow, that's probably a pretty cool stunt, but then again, it's just more time that we're not talking and discussing. So yeah, I don't know. What else anything that you wanted to chat about?
No, not really.
Did you get to talk about your opinion on everything?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I think the beginning of the film is pretty fascinating, just what high school life is like. That's an interesting thing to me. The music has changed. The dancing hasn't. We dress the same.
I just don't know why they started it in high school. It was weird. I'm assuming the book does, and that's kind of how you
young
learn
people
about
go to
these
war.
characters.
And then it's interesting because at the end of the film, those guys who all were 18 when they started the war are now the veterans. And they even mention that. They're like, who are these kids? They're they're fresh out of boot camp. Wow, we're the vets now.
Yeah, and those kids actually looked like they were
did.
in high
They
school.
looked like babies.
They looked the right age for it. But it's also how did you guys become the veterans? Hasn't it only been a couple of weeks? A month?
No,
maybe?
I think it's been years.
Years?
I do. I think
don't think
2
it's been
years.
years.
I think almost 2 years has passed during this movie.
Really?
Yep.
2 years?
Yeah, I don't think it's been a couple months.
What would give you that impression?
Because I just feel the way they climb ranks and stuff, and I feel there's gaps in between where you just assume there's business as usual, just scouting. We're only seeing the highlights.
I don't know. I feel like he's in boot camp. He gets kicked out of boot camp. They go to war on the day that he's kicked out of boot camp, and everything else just happens.
Yeah, and boot was probably like a couple months.
Summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Rico gets injured in that invasion, and he's in that little canister of water getting healed. Like, that probably took a while.
3 days. They said you're
going to be out in 3 days.
3 days. How
Yeah.
long was he in there?
How
That's
long was
true.
he in there, you know?
I don't know.
I think you can make an argument this movie takes place in 4 months, and you can make an argument this movie takes place in 2 years.
That works for me.
Any other things that you would like to talk about?
I think we hit them all. I'm just like skimming my little notes here. I wrote what a lot. What was that? But I think, I don't know, as we've explained it more, I'm understanding it a little bit more. I'm probably not going to change my percentage, but just know that I don't mean this as hurtful as I once did.
Okay. So, I'll give you my percentage because I think your percentage is the climax of the episode.
Let's hear it.
My percentage is 70%.
Wow.
Right? It's tied with Terminator 1.
No.
Yep. It's higher than Teen Wolf, and it's tied with Terminator 1 as far as what I would go watch right now.
Fascinating.
Yeah. I could pick either one.
Interesting.
Not Terminator 2. Terminator 2 is way higher.
Terminator 2 is a good movie.
Yeah.
I have that in my 70s, I think. Terminator 1, I think I have like in the 60s.
Oh, okay.
It's not super low. Maybe 50s. I don't know. It's right there.
All right. So where's this one at?
Fascinating. I'm going to read you my review, and then I'm going to tell you the number. Starship Troopers. With reckless abandon, Starship Troopers gives middle school boys everything they want. My first one. I wrote that as we were sitting here. My first one before I sat in here and had this conversation with you.
How dare you?
Starship Troopers. What was that?
They're both equally funny. Oh, it's tremendous. Okay.
And I give it a 25%.
Oh my gosh!
Which is
it's so low.
Lower, just between Teen Wolf.
Yep.
And just above Mortal Kombat.
So it's higher than Mortal Kombat for you.
It is only because the people are that much more attractive in it, I think.
Okay.
And there's hints of it that are more entertaining. I would rather rewatch this than Mortal Kombat.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
See, I would rather watch Mortal Kombat.
Well, that is
Those
true.
fight scenes were amazing.
Yep, 20%. Mortal Kombat for me was a 23%.
What was it for me?
Mortal Kombat for you was a 78%.
Perfect.
Feel
I
good?
stand by that to this day.
Yeah, but this beats Ladybugs, Halloween 3. I have it higher than Double Dragon, but I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like Double Dragon's too low.
Double Dragon needs to be increased on your list. We argued about this.
I need to
last
rework my
season.
list.
Yep.
Not that anyone
Double
cares,
Dragon
but...
is excellent. It is definitely in the 70s. Anybody who doesn't put it there, you're out of your mind. That's a good time.
Take that or leave it.
Awesome. Well, Rach,
yes.
It's your episode next week, baby.
It
What you gonna
is
pick?
my episode next week. And in the spirit of payback season, I am going to treat you to the delightful rom-com Bridget Jones' Diary.
Oh, no.
Yes.
I've actually feared this movie because I've seen only like sections of it and it like did nothing to entice me. So
it's been so long that I can't remember how I feel about this movie, but I know we're going to watch it. So looking forward to it. Hope you guys tune in next week.
Payback season.
Payback season. No.
Peter Plum?
Is
that his name?
I don't know.
The kid who stuck his thumb in the pie when he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
Was it a meat pie or was there like a... There was like a bird in the...
Plum pie.
Oh, okay.
This is not the beginning.
No, it's
Tell me
not.
This
is
not.
just for fun.
Oh, thank goodness.
This is another
I
check.
was like, we've got to get better.
I
at our
always thought that
entrances.
kid, for sticking his thumb in the pie, should have got a thumb up his butt.
Gosh,
As a
all right, no, I know
punishment.
we're not using it.